you see a picture, a sigil on the side of the cart that is decidedly one that belongs to Legala. It's a Legalan merchant trade company. Also a Legalan merchant stayed with Millicent's Bowl.
All right, go.
One that you decidedly know is working on the pay of Arcanon and such.
Uh-huh.
And judging from the telltale marks of this, it looks like by the Ridge Riders or another gang out in the west.
All right. Well, at those signs, I'm gonna immediately start looking around at the nearby areas, see to like trace the Ridge Riders that got involved in this attack. That'd be a survival.
Yeah. Anybody who wants to can make a survival check. Try and notice other things about this.
Difficulty.
It is going to be against 3 difficulty. Add anybody who's making it will add 2 setback dice because of the fact that these look to be a little old, and the rain that storm go and the wind did a number on some of the track.
All right, so 3 difficulty, and I add no setback. Can I add?
Oh yeah, and actually, Jacob, you can add an extra boost dice because these are people that run a couple of times.
Fuck yeah! All right. All right.
Oh, that's fun. Okay. And so Jake, you look around and even though it's been a minute, as you take a look around, Lynn, you look and you do find a couple of footprints, but it's hard to really track them as they kind of go dead, and after a short while, and you're not able to pin down any decided tracks. That said, Jacob, you go a little bit further out, and you actually find a number of horseshoe tracks, kind of in the area. It almost looks like as if there was a camp that was set up here. And near the camp, you find a boot, a singular boot, just standing up right there.
I recognize it.
Not particularly. It's a boot. It's not a boot that you've seen before, but it's definitely a boot that somebody in this trade would wear. It's a nice leather boot. Well, not nice, but like a hardy leather boot.
I mean, still, that's still my family. So yeah, Jay would like turn to. Is there any other information I would have gotten from that?
Not without taking closer investigation.
All right. So yeah, before like taking said closer investigation, like Jay would like draw attention to these trucks and say, everyone, I got signs.
Is it normal for them to leave their boot around?
It is not. No.
Not usual, but everyone gets slaughtered from time to time. But this is definitely the mark. This is my family. This is them. This is Ridge Rider work.
You sure it's not a trap left by a family?
Can I roll another check to see if it is? Because
do a knowledge underworld check to see if it's anything that
fuck.
Anybody who wants to can.
All right. Can I have a boost on this because
Yes. Yes, I will have it.
Difficulty.
Make it up against 3 difficulty.
All right. That's a lot of.
It's not a trap that you have any inkling on.
Dude. It's a new one on me, apparently. Please. Actually, wait, that was me. No, actually,
it's the same, yeah.
Yeah, my lore is the same as my underworld, so never mind.
And so yeah, I imagine everybody kind of comes on over.
Yeah, no,
Hey Wilson, you want to poke it with your spear?
I don't see why not. And he'll come over and he'll take his spear and he'll poke the boot. The boot does not move. It stays up.
Mm-hmm.
And he like looks at it and he's like, "Well, that's right, weird." And he pokes it a little bit harder and it's still like it doesn't move, like it doesn't fall over. He hits it like really hard and it doesn't move.
All right, well, that's probably a trap. Hey,
What the bloody hell is all this about? And he goes to turn around, and as he like tries to move his foot, it doesn't move.
Jacob's gonna fucking draw his pistol.
The devil is all this about?
Hey, fellas, why don't you poke your heads out? Say hello to old friends. I'm old Kenneth Flint's.
And
Vix.
as you say that, it doesn't appear as if anybody pops their head out.
Mm.
And Elliot comes up after a moment and, Wilson, I believe you stumbled into a spot of quicksand. I imagine you're not the first one. He says, pointing at the boot. Well, what's that mean? And he starts like trying to pull it.
Nope.
Hold on. I'm gonna get some Flora, and we're gonna have some Flora turn around so Wilson can grab her tail.
And okay, yeah. So go ahead and do that. Can I have you for first Flora roll an athletics check?
I'll just get to Wyvern. Okay, so that's gonna be good. Against what difficulty?
It's gonna be against 3 difficulty. And as Sephora like brings her tail out, and as it pulls, the budge very much. But as she kind of continues to like, oh devil, that's painful. There's gotta be something else we can do to get this off. And
Can I get fucking Tempston on this shit?
I think if a Wyvern isn't moving him, he's probably not going to move it off.
I mean, Unicorn might be able to add a bit of muscle power to it.
And Elliot, forced enough is not going to be enough. You need to break up that you're stuck already. You need to move. There needs to be brute force will not free you from that. And he looks kind of just like with one arm like still holding the other one. Like, I ain't existing. And he looks around. And is there anything else anybody else can? The sediment he's already sunk into, which he is continuing to sink into as he goes. Need to work on breaking that up.
Could I use magic? Can someone do that?
Yeah. How do you try that?
Very my idea.
So I have to break up the sediment beneath them?
Yes. Yeah, when pulling somebody out of a quicksand, never fucking works. Going up actually,
Well, you're not going up.
basically the way that you need to do it is you basically need to then be pulled up, but just struggling won't help. So effectively, what you need to do is you need to break up the sediment while he's being pulled. Which, if you were able to do that with, will basically make it so that it perhaps be able to get out in some way.
Yeah. Think about how my lighting magic bit.
And breaking up means vibrations typically out of God's chance.
Can I do like other magic stuff besides that? The only wheelhouse that I work.
I mean, anything that's remotely like fire and lightning, those kinds of things, you'd be able to work with.
I mean, I could like run a charge through the ground, like
And win, technically. Yeah, technically that one.
And like Misty can also going to combine them.
Oh, I thought I could do like anything besides.
You technically with the unless you just automatically keep it so that
Oh shit! Yeah.
rules wise you can, but
Technically, Misty can use his hand wind.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Let's just pump a bunch of wind and like try to like vibrate it and like break it apart.
yeah, both of you guys make an anima magic check against 3 difficulty, and we'll see what happens. Nice. So it takes a minute, and so basically, as you guys get to the edge of where it looks like the quicksand pit is, you by combining it you kind of like let a couple of light charges of electricity into the thing to kind of try and break it up a little bit, while Misty, you try and kind of make localized whirlwinds in it to try and break up the sediment. And as you do, combined with Symphora pulling, you guys are able to, or he's able to come out. That said, he's absolutely going to lose his shoes. And so you hear as you're able to get the edge of his trousers out, but his boots stick in, and most of them are in the sediment as well because of the struggling that he did. And he's like, bloody damn it. And he kind of shrugs and is like, suppose it's better than losing me a leg or something.
Or your pants.
Well, I mean, if anything, that would be a gift, right? Ha! And he laughs at his own joke. I think he's the only one that laughs at his own joke.
Yeah.
But that's okay. And yeah, so you kind of back away from the quicksand trap, and from there, from the investigations that you guys are able to find, you do find a couple of tracks that seem to be continuing to head west. Additionally, on the road, it looks as if there may have been more than one cart when they departed. So, do you want to try and follow the main road and see if you can't find anything else about this, or do you want to try and continue making your way off a more subtle way as you go? What do you guys think?
All right. With my experience with the Ridge Riders, would I have an idea which idea, like which option would probably be the best idea?
It depends. It looks like the other carts may have been pursued by your people,
Mm-hmm.
or the people, whether they were the Ridge Riders or another gang.
Yeah.
So you could find them, or you could find the people who they hit. But it has been a few days, so it's hard to say.
Probably go for them. So I guess that would probably be probably the route that they took themselves.
Okay.
Rather than the main road. If everyone's cool with that.
I think everybody's probably defaulting to you because you actually know this area.
Yeah, I guess I do. So yeah, like Jacob's default would be to try like actually track down some Ridge Riders. So it'd be follow in their wake.
And as you guys kind of continue, you travel on the main road for a little bit, and the next day, you don't really find anything. As the day turns to night and the night turns to day, but early the following day, on the 10th day that you guys travel, as you guys are like in the area where you'd be able to get to Emnet or any of the other surrounding towns that you might be in, you're effectively getting to the point where you're gonna probably try and find a lead. But very early the next day, basically as soon as you go, as you kind of make your way, it's kind of oppressively hot today. It gets a bit because there's also nothing to really absorb the heat as it cut off of lack of foliage and such, and so it's a little bit hotter today than it was. And as you make your way down the road, you see another wagon. This one though is this one actually has a guy sitting in it actually. And he's knelt over by the wheel, another broken wheel in this case, and appears to be a look at it.
Mm-hmm. Can I roll something to like recognize whether or not this is actually like a trap?
Yeah, go ahead and make a perception check
Alright.
if you like. 2 difficulty.
Two
Or 1 difficulty, sorry. 1
Oh,
difficulty.
Oh, well, still rolled that with 1. Start with 2. All right.
Nothing that your people.
Yeah.
And so as you see this guy, he turns in as you kind of make your way down the road. The heat, the rules of heat almost kind of it's very different from Zodia. But yeah, it's are kind of withering through the air as you kind of go. Looks and he looks and he sees you guys, and he big burly guy seems to be wearing normal kind of sweat stained under his armpits and on his chest.
Mm-hmm.
And he kind of waves your direction. He's got a white brim hat on.
Mm.
Howdy, travelers!
Yeah. Hey, partner. Good to see other folks on the end of the road.
And he kind of shrugs as you go, and he looks and he kind of kicks the wagon, and like kind of winces a bit, and bloody, I reckon I like to be on the road, damn it.
What's that? You slow down.
Bloody wagon wheel caught onto stone and didn't see, spun its way around. Some business parts of the whole deal broke themselves right off as chased after it. Reckon I looked a fine fool running after that thing as it shakes his head at it, like sitting down on the ground by.
Does the
Damn fool I am! Damn fool I am! Forgot to pack a spare last time.
Does the appearance of this cart like speak to his words?
Judging from what you know about wagons, yes.
All right. Well, do you have a spare?
I don't think so.
You have a wagon.
Well, friend, we don't have men to it. We don't have a spare wagon, but
I'm ashamed that.
well,
Though I reckon you got one of them scaly things. The devil's that.
11.
we're called.
Ain't never heard no wyvern before.
You could say it's imported.
It's a rarity. That being said, if you ever mind, we could get you back to town, and I don't know, see maybe if we could get sort of replacement. Get you set up nice, at least enough to get you on your way.
And he shrugs and says, I reckon that'd be mighty fine, but ain't no way I could carry all this hay myself. I mean, I could leave it here, but it ain't gonna be here when I come back.
Yeah,
Someone will find it.
We got people who could care for you. Let me see. Well, we got my Tempest, we got Lynn's horse, and
Could Symphora basically carry that cart?
It's a pretty big cart. But you could probably, depending on how you did it, you might be able to. But
maybe,
it would be cumbersome.
Okay.
how about like at least like in regards to like the contents of the splitting that between the various mounts, like that would be pretty doable.
Yeah. And he kind of like scratches his head and he said, yeah, damn shame to leave this old cart out here though. I reckon it ain't gonna be here when I come back. There are enough enough folk around here what could pick parts out of this that there ain't gonna be nothing when I come back. But I ain't gonna impose nothing on you kind folk.
Well, Misty, Lady Conscience, either you got any sort of idea about doing with some of that cart?
1 second, I'm making a roll real quick.
What's the design of the cart?
The design is as you take a closer look, you see similar markings as to what was on the first one. Likely this it seems to be not the same company as the first one, but another similar company, one that also is delivering things for another one that is delivering things for likely for the Imperial controlled
Yeah.
areas.
They seem legit. Like, is there anything funny going on here?
No, he seems to be. You notice that he definitely like has decidedly looked at the fact that there are a lot of you guys and that you're all armed,
Yeah.
and that he is not. Well, save for like some pitchforks and like maybe an old rusty like lumberjack axe.
And is definitely working for Millicent.
But he's heading to Mnet, which we're also going towards, correct?
If you're going right in the city, yeah.
Which is basically our best starting point for trying to track down Flint and the rest of the Ridge Riders.
Okay, so
Possibly, though it also could be dangerous because there are decidedly it is pretty much has been occupied by Millicent's forces.
At least
So if you guys were discreet, you'd be good. But
it's moving.
But
the
we
right
have a
direction.
giant lizard with us.
yeah, unfortunately, a giant lizard carrying a cart is not definition of discreet.
I'm not
Also, there are
planning
only
on-
so many giant flying lizards in the world.
I'm
it's
not
true,
planning
and
on going
and
to the
50
city.
and like 200 of them just landed on the shore.
Yeah, I'm not planning on getting to the city. It's just getting close enough that fucking hopefully Flint recognizes us. But
You guys could always ask questions. You could leave them here. You could spend a destiny point to do something crazy if you want.
Phil, so you're heading to Mnet?
And he nods. That is, if I don't bake in the sun before it.
What do you delivering? If you don't mind my asking.
Well, I fell behind a little bit. Had to feed old Bessie over here. He gestures in the direction of an old mule eating in the cart. Oh my god, that's a stupid idea. Steph is like making a unicorn mule. That's a hilarious idea, but no, it's just a regular mule with tiny residual wings or vestigial wings. No, not really.
Oh,
But no, it's just this old mule eating just kind of eating what grass can find.
alright.
She came down with a right little bit of a sickness, and
Well-
had to leave herself a couple two got left behind by some I was traveling with. Figured I'd be just fine, but then I gestures to
Here we
the
are.
wheel. Here we are.
Well, we ain't gonna get you to end it, but we'll get you as far as we can. That being said, might ask kindness of you.
And he scratches the back of his head. I reckon this ain't gonna be the kind of thing I'm gonna like hearing, ain't it?
Well, it depends on your ears, I guess. Generally speaking, all I'm asking is keep the presence of me and mine just to yourself. We ain't looking to cause too much trouble, but we know there's a decent number of if they knew we were about might cause a right mess. Don't want that.
I see. Reckon you and your lots not too popular around these parts, eh?
We were upon time, but not no more.
I'd made an assumption that one of you was with old Westridge and his riders, but he kind of gestures to everybody. Ain't exactly from here.
Not all, but most account.
Well, I ain't looking to make no trouble.
I ain't looking to cause none.
And if you folks are gonna get out of this little rough patch we ourselves in, well, I ain't trade the kind of kindness on the road. Especially given the fact that I think you know where this is going.
Yeah, I figure. Yeah, I do kind of to you. We all live as friends. Sounds all right.
And he looks at the rest of you, and he nods and he says, "I appreciate it, though. I still can't quite figure out how he's going to bring this even close to, given what we're dealing with."
Yeah, we'll figure something out. And just like look between Ophelia and Misty.
Which wheel is broken?
It is the right wheel, and
Yeah,
basically it
front or
looks as it's the front back wheel.
Can I use magic to mend the wheel, or is that not a thing that magic can do in the system?
It not necessarily. The magic in this is a little bit more elemental in nature.
Mhm.
And fixing things with magic is a little bit more difficult. You could definitely manipulate it with magic, but it would be difficult to actually magically mend things beyond just a little bit of telekinesis and such.
Ah.
Could
Here's-
Ophelia use dark magic to conjure a wheel?
Or could I use
It could be.
jury rig something?
You could use survival to try and find materials. But you could find that you could do materials, but to actually do it would be a crafting check.
Okay.
She could, though that is not exactly subtle.
All right. How about
I'm just voicing out of character options.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. How about Jacob? What's the difficulty for me to find some materials?
It would be just a 2 difficulty survival check.
All right.
Add 1 setback dice because of
That
the.
setback dice is not going to matter.
Oh, yeah, never mind. It was going to be because of the fact that you're not in the most lush of areas, but.
Yeah, but I have knack for it for survival. But I do have gifted for survival. So, haha.
Ultimately, he doesn't need to get in there smooth. He just needs to get in.
Yeah.
Yep. So do.
But yeah, open to ideas.
pfft,
Unfortunately, you don't find much
Apparently,
that you could use to repair it.
Can
And
we take
unfortunately,
can we take the front wheel off the front and put it on the back and support it with Centaura?
yeah, you could probably do that.
or the thing is, Sephora is okay.
Just to get them closer?
Well, no. Here's the thing. Sephora is pretty goddamn noticeable.
True.
Could we, in exchange, could someone ride on at least one or maybe even 2 or 3 people ride on Tempest and Symphora, and instead we give those horses, the horses that would be carrying those people, to the merchant. So basically, Lynn rides with Tempest or rides with Symphora, or someone else rides with Tempest or Symphora, and in exchange their horses go to the the fellow with the caravan.
And then
He
basically,
could, though it would be hard for the horses to pull the wagon without a wheel still. So the wagon itself would be left behind, though the items would not be. You could still do it, and he seemed like he was not unwilling to leave the wagon behind, but knows that if he does, the wagon is a lost cause.
How many days behind us was those other wagons?
It was about 2 days.
Yeah, I just don't want to cost this guy his fucking livelihood, because
How casually have we been traveling?
Casually enough as to not have to, as to the fact that you've been able to avoid issue. You could probably get there and back in a day, but if you did so, I would have to have you make
How
a stealth
fast
check.
could Misty do it?
That would be about a day. If somebody who was fast, like a rider or something, would be able to do that.
I'm pretty fast. Question. Actually, how much would a good cart cost?
One of about this size would probably be somewhere, but depending on how nice you wanted to make it, would probably range somewhere between 500 Imperial credits and 1,050, or 1,500, depending on how nice it was. Judging from this one, make if somebody wants to try and appraise it, Or you could also ask Elliot, because Elliot's is decidedly the smart one. Let's see.
I'll
He can-
probably ask Elliot.
He's not exactly sure, but he can probably narrow it down to probably somewhere between 750 Imperial credits and 1,000 Imperial credits.
All right. Well,
He guesses it's probably on the up end.
yeah. All right. Well, friend, can't replace your wheel, and can't replace your cart. I can give you 500 though.
As you say that, you like, oh, no, I reckon there ain't you forking out your own hard-earned cash from me, especially not a number like that. That's
Folks got hard enough as it is. I ain't gonna make it harder. And if I can help, I can help.
and he will. What's up?
Is the logo stamped on his cart?
It looks like it's like kind of like a stamp. Not like a permanent thing. It's very easily taken off if he were to like. It looks like it was added after the.
Look, you do what you gotta do, but here's someone to help you on.
And he won't turn on. He'll tip his hat to you, and he said, "I reckon I really appreciate it, stranger. Ain't no reason, and no reason you've robbed me, especially
Actually,
given everything."
I have a character question. There are Barts, right?
There was one about 2 days
Okay,
back,
that's far.
Yeah, that's a ways.
and you
back.
could get there in a day, or maybe a little bit less than a day, and get like there back like in roughly you like flew and went real fast, but it's not very secretive.
Yeah.
And that's also like that's hard for him to pull off. Like I'm cool to spend money. Look, it's hard times. You Emily?
He nods. Yep, me, my wife, my kids, and best.
Yeah. Take care of them. All right.
Okay, I will, stranger.
All right.
Might
Best way to repay me.
I ask you your name? Is that something you don't want to be split?
Malcolm Morrow. That's a good name for it.
And he might if name it is. And he offers. He takes his handshake.
Jacob,
And hang on.
you take care of your family.
Will do. Name's Abraham. Nice to meet you.
Pleasure. Oh, pleasure.
And he, well, I ain't gonna be here. I ain't gonna around and let all you kind of folk carry this hay all on your own. Let's try and get what we can. Appreciate it. I really do. And he'll help you guys like get it into position and such. Like he'll help fasten it to that. And he'll and yeah, you guys will make your way close enough. How close do you think you would get?
Not that close. Just
Yeah.
at this point, like of how Ridge Riders probably have radius around Eminent to trust, even like in bad times.
It's true.
So I factor that.
Okay.
Like,
And so yeah, you guys meet maybe just under a mile and a half out, just far enough where like where you about any trolls or something. If you get up here quickly enough, and as you get closer, he are you guys gonna do the horses, or are you what's your guys' plan from here?
I mean, Symphora can take one other person if that's something.
If you lent him 2 horses, they could probably slowly make their way towards the city with the rest of the hay. That was the mule.
So I can take Lynn on Symphora.
done have to, if you can.
And so Lynn and Wilson will, or actually no, Marilyn. Marilyn will she'll actually offer look at you, Jacob, and say, "You think tempted my another ride for a bit, eh?"
No, I don't know. Me and my girl has someone to come along with. Might work out.
And yeah, the she'll just and this is a bit too exciting. And oh, and as you guys get there, I really appreciate this, folks, more than you realize. If there anything
You survive as best you can. Everyone knows your hard times, and you ain't stupid the kind. It's part of them hard times. So just take care of yourself and take care of Yarn. All right.
he nods.
And
I will.
don't mention the daily thing.
You folk just won't you? If you folk ain't no friends at the capital at the moment, there's quite a few folk down here what you won't want to run into.
Yeah, I know that for sure. Thank you, though. Pleasure.
Oh, and as he turns back and says, he says, oh, and where are you folk all heading next?
Jeep's gonna like look at him for a second. Can I trust you as decent folk?
My pops taught me to be as decent as I can.
Yeah, that's all that we can do then. Be as decent as our pups. Then hope you could send me to mine. I got raised by a rich rat. If you might know where they take one.
He his eyebrows kind of raised a second. Reckon ain't no one know where they've been the last couple of weeks and months. The those paladins, their horses have been hounding them like bat out of hell. I reckon if they still around here, you'll probably find them in the only places considered to be safe. Those kind of places are shut down, nothing right.
Bad place. All right.
There's a couple too far from here. What I think I've had a bit of trouble up in. I've been steering well clear of what's happening. But if you're looking for this, I reckon you might find in one of the places.
I'm looking for flip, but let's start. Thanks.
He nods and he tips his hat again and he says, very least, shit. 1 second. Your best bet's heading over to Low Edge. Ain't too far from here. Just maybe couple miles south of here. Reckon you might find something you can follow to somewhere you might find some of your old friends.
Thank you.
And he tips his hat and he says, "I thank you again."
Take care of yourself and take care of your family.
Yeah, he'll do that and he'll head north, or rather head west into the city. And as you guys are left, as he leaves, you guys are given a moment of reprieve to plan your next mission or your next thing.
All right. Well, he gave us our head. And
Are we sure we want to head to this Low Edge place? Ophelia says, ultimately, I would like to believe that he was not leading us into a trap, but it is entirely possible.
Out of character, real quick. How many, from when we saw those broken down wagons to here, how many different trails were there?
How
Or
many
were we
different?
on the same road the whole way?
I imagine that there was a couple of times where the old road kind of parts and such a bit. The first downed wagon was slightly off of the road as well, but it probably wasn't necessarily the same road, though. The road is heading. You did kind of weave in and out of a couple of roads as you were going, so they were on the road to Emnet since they were kind of here. But seeing as the road is also on its way or heading into a loyalist control area, it would make sense that they were hit.
But T got left behind by his friends.
Yes.
Weird
Yeah,
how
could be a
that is set.
Yeah, it could be a trap.
It was kind of the thing where how he explained it is he told them like I'll catch up, and then after they had already like head forward, they had already kept moving, and then the wagon wheel broke and he didn't catch up to the time, and it was kind of the matter of, well,
But also clearly not safe to be alone.
no, it's not. He was not planning
Weird.
on being alone. Likely his people did not want to linger or double back to find him.
Because
Yeah,
they
well,
probably also had families to worry about.
and also they were worried about my people.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I suppose at this point our options are to investigate this low edge place, or we can try and head to Emnet itself and try and see if we can't learn anything. Obviously, we would have to be rather careful if we do that.
yeah, basically we trust his word and that's on my, or we take our own fucking luck and go to Emnet and hope that fucking loyalists don't find us. Me personally, I got some kind of faith. We did that fella a good turn. Didn't mess about our. I can have some kind of hope that he ain't gonna.
And
Give him a good name.
and she nods and says, "Well, if it will be our best lead to try and find these ridge riders, then let us go."
My
And that can always hang back, not be quite as conspicuous when you go in.
And yeah, so you guys, as everybody's kind of in agreement, you guys head south off of the main road and make your way down. As you guys make your way down towards Low Edge, you see the town. It's a very small town. Less than 20 buildings total. With a number of individuals just kind of out and about as they go. You see a couple of folk with wagons and carts moving out and preparing work and just kind of going about their business. And, as you guys make your way down, could I have you guys all make a perception check, just against 2 difficulty, just to see what you see in the town as you're going?
yep.
I officially have the worst perception out of everybody.
Wow.
Mine ain't great.
And so yeah, as you did Jay leave for a second? I think it did.
Yeah, he
Um,
said bye.
and so well, Lynn finds Lynn, as you keep an eye in your nose, you do decide since you do kind of smell what smells to be pouring nearby a couple there's a small hill nearby that you're able to a little bit of a operation here the mining that haven't looked as nothing compared to this, but them some iron and such looks like in this you notice that but you decidedly do not see any loyalists here right now, which is a good thing. You decidedly do not see anything. Jacob, you back? Or is he still off? Okay, he's back.
Yeah.
Jacob, that's so good. There's a number of things that catch your eye about this,
Mhm.
but there's one thing in particular that you see. You have been to this town before in the past when you were young in your time getting up some of the old water, and as you look, you see some familiar sights over by the low tavern. Namely, you see Flint's crotchety old horse harnessed up to one of the poles nearby.
Oh hell.
An old gray bastard, almost as old as he is, functionally. And they're as you guys approach, it's the tavern that they're outside is called the Tumblin' Weeds, of course.
So yeah, as we're getting outside, then G would like motion to everyone else. If we found anything, we found it here. That's Flint's horse. It's Flint's place.
Is there anywhere
Uh,
that Symphora could like hang back safely so she's not a giant lizard waltzing into town?
That is
Yeah.
an issue.
Okay.
There's some places that you could probably stash her near the caverns and cliff sides. She is rather blue, but she will try and stay out of sight.
Yeah.
She can, yeah. So she can probably help conceal her at least temporarily.
Just so there's not a large wyvern waltzing into a small little town.
She would disguise it as a horse, but it's a bit bigger. It would be
Yeah.
hard to do with something
Symphora
like.
can hang out in a cave. That's fine.
Yeah. You do what you can. I'll do the talking, and Jacob will head on in.
So who all's going into this old tavern? And who's
I'll do
and who's out?
Booze.
It is booze. It's like the
Yeah,
booziest
it-
booze.
There is, in fact, whiskey aplenty.
I feel like from a sheerly professional standpoint, I should go in there to inspect it and make sure it's okay.
That's true.
I mean, as long as Misty didn't need to be by Symphora, she'd
No.
go in.
She'll be okay.
Yeah, like I have faith Symphora listens to me.
I have faith that Chance will detect whether or not anyone has mixed rat poison with the local whiskey supply.
Yep.
That's fair.
You found your job, son.
And Starling, Wilson, Elliot, and Marilyn will go in. Jared and Ophelia will remain outside to make sure that nothing happens or anything like that. And so as you guys step into the old tavern, it's not a big one. But regardless of the fact that it's not very big, it's it's rather crowded. The tables are all filled to max capacity as the doors swing wide and open. And as you go in, you see all manner of folk. As you head in, you see common folk, what look like miners. You see people who look like farmers and such. All just kind of keeping their heads down and stuff. And as you guys swing the saloon style doors open, of course they're saloon style doors, because who are we kidding? And as you go in, all of the eyes, of course, turn in your direction. And over dominating about 40% of the small tavern, actually probably about 60% of the small tavern. Who are we kidding? Jacob, you see a bunch of folks that look familiar. There's some new faces, some old faces, and one really old face. Leaning up on a chair, far up against the wall, you see the old cowboy himself. A messy mop of grayish hair, leaning back in his chair up against the wall. A bottle of whiskey in his hand as he bends it and takes a swig.
Is there a pep?
And as you head in, like, you recognize some of the faces from the area over there.
I see Vic.
No, you do not see Vic.
All right.
And he leans back and he looks up just a bit. His eyes barely under his hat, and he gets from his bushy beard and mustache, gets out of a grin as he sees you, just a small one. Hand my hat and call me a loyalist. If it ain't Jacob fucking Morrow in the flesh and blood.
Yeah. Yeah, it's me, Flint. Been a minute.
Been a couple of minutes. And he looks over at the rest of you guys and see you're riding with a might different crew than what I expected.
Yeah, I'm riding with blood. You scoff at that, do you?
No, I ain't. I suppose I just ain't so surprised at that.
Why is that, Flint?
You really gotta ask that.
Yeah, I've really got to ask that.
Jacob, why'd you leave the riders in the first place?
You think you know? Why don't you fucking say it? Come on,
And-
Bob. Say it.
When I heard that old Minx Edney decided to go and take a stand out up in here, I figured it was only a matter of time before I heard you'd step up right on next to her. Ain't a bad thing, just a thing. And he takes another drink of the whiskey, and he looks over to the guys at his table, and he's like, all right, boys. He gestures with his head, and he says, make some room. Let's let our guests feel comfortable up in here. And they'll kind of like scoot over, and a couple of them will stand up and like leave because there's not a lot of room, and the ones that you recognize will tip their hats at you and such as they exit behind you guys.
I only done what I thought Mal would have done. And Jacob will like take a seat beside Flint, and as he does so, he'll pull out the walking stick he bought the old man in Zodia, and he'll just offer it to him. Here, gotcha this.
You son of a bitch. he says, like, taking it and with a smile under his beard.
Figured you might need it, you old neck. Keep you from keeling over while you're trying to draw.
I'm surprised you didn't freeze your ass to death over there.
Yeah, well, I had Tempest to keep me warm, and Alstro to keep me fucking mad as hell. So,
Alstro Mary. She been a busy lass, she has been.
yeah, she been a fucking mess. So, speaking of,
I won't lie and say I'm a little disappointed not to see the little miss here herself.
yeah, I ain't disappointed myself. She got business with her own people, council, sort of business. She sends her regards and her love.
He nods. I'd drink to that, and he tips back the bottle of whiskey. So,
Yeah.
what's the story about all you folk? He says, looking at everyone else.
Well, before we get into that, I gotta ask, Flint, where's Vic?
He gets a grin.
I ain't seen her.
I reckon you ain't. Vic's been mighty busy as of late. She and I had a bit of a row. Nothing major. Took up a couple of the boys what wanted to try and see what they couldn't do about this whole schism nonsense.
Hmm.
I've been keeping in contact with her. Ain't nothing happened to her yet. But her and the boys what followed her out there, been hearing some pretty good stories about what they've been up to.
No surprise there.
See, they's looking for me. They ain't looking for her. So she's been able to move about with a bit more freedom than me and some of the old boys.
Yeah,
Not to mention she ain't got old knees. I'm sure that helps a little bit. He takes another swig of the whiskey.
Yeah. She causing herself a mess of trouble.
Much and more from what I understand.
Yes, my bandit. shit. Well,
But if you're looking for her here, you ain't gonna find her.
you'll find her elsewhere.
Though I suppose that brings me to my next question. I reckon you and yours is here to try and convince me what to sign up with this Blood of Legala nonsense that old Prince Connor started, eh?
Ain't just Connor. Is it any too?
I ain't surprised. She always has been one for big ideas. Ever since she was a little lass.
Big ideas and good ideas. Clint. Better ideas.
Better than what?
Better than what you and I have accomplished. You kept the fight going. I ain't gonna alter that, Father, but this is an end to it. I ain't gonna. I give it to you straight because I want you in it. I ain't gonna fight, but this is your shot at Arcanon. Thing. Connor. I ain't sure about him, but I'm sure about the conversation he's talking. He ain't in full control. He ain't the only voice. Etney's part of the voice. I'm fucking part of the voice. Fuck knows what reason. You remember fucking Jared? Some bitch used to chase us, head of fucking cavalry.
The old colonel.
Yeah. That asshole got fucking converted. You want to know by who?
Raises an eyebrow.
Etney's fucking nephew. And Connor.
Well, damn.
It's a fucking discussion like we used to fucking talk about. It ain't ranks. It ain't commands. It's people talking. It ain't perfect. It's not gonna stay, but it's what you've been fighting for, you old fucking egg. It's what we've all been. So I don't know, Matt. I don't feel like there should be much of a debate here.
And he looks over at the rest of you and is like, well, clearly. You're attracting all sorts of folk across the ocean.
Predators
Yeah,
hunt better in a pack. Or just a mass in the pack.
We're a great big mess of that. Manichates, half shifters, Zodians, for some fucking reason. All sorts of mess. The sort of thing you can appreciate, I imagine.
And he kind of like looks at like each of you guys in turn. Two of you folk. He says, looking at Elliot and Marilyn. You folk. First off, I can tell you're mages. Second off, you look like you're from what? Brimrad, something like that. He looks over at Chance and says, now I ain't sure about you, but I think if you open your mouth, I could pick out almost exactly what street in the lower city you was from.
Shit.
Somewhere, you is from the city, yeah?
Get me pegged, guys. Got burned.
Your accent's rather distinct, love.
He climbed his way so high, he found his way. Same as the rest of us.
And he looks over at Misty and says, "Now I know where you from."
Originally Zodia, but a lot of places technically.
I heard stories of a wyvern rider. He was that one what was traveling with Connor some time ago, yeah?
And Davian before that. And Pirates before that.
You really was all over the place, weren't you? And he looks at the rather the comparatively well dressed Lynn, and he says, "Now I ain't sure to. I'm guessing you's from Arcanon too, yeah? You got folk from all over the place. That's something."
Arcanon, Zodia, Confederacy.
With a group like that, he says, like looking at the whole cast, I'd be a damn fool if I didn't want to get in on the action.
There's the old man, I remember.
Can I have you make a
Mm-hmm.
leadership check?
Am I using someone else's fucking present?
From that, you can get 1 extra green.
Okay. Difficulty?
It's gonna be against 3 difficulty.
Anyone mind if I spend a fucking
And the destiny point.
Yeah.
Go ahead and add 2 boost dice, because guy basically raised you.
You did.
That said, I'm going to go ahead and upgrade the check once with the destiny, or with the story point.
And it's leadership, so it's alright.
And go ahead and add 1 more boost dice, because you brought up a good argument.
Alright. Fuck. Yes! Okay.
And after a little Vic went cool for not one getting involved, I don't think I could live down the pleasure of letting you do the same. All right, partner. I can get on this ride, if and for old time's sake. Though I can't say I'm gonna be making friends with too many of those folk over at your base camp.
Shit, I was fucking gonna make too many friends.
I don't even think you know the meaning of the word making friends.
Heard someone out making messes. Sounds close enough. It's glad to know you're on board.
All right, boys. And by the way, he says boys, but there are definitely girls in the group too. Like, it's just like boys. It's like the unisex boys, of course. All right, boys, pack up your things. We got ourselves a spunky redhead to find. We can't let her have all the fun in this big hit she's trying to pull off.
We as it stands, we got some factories to take back.
Oh.
Yeah.
Trying to go big.
Oh no. Recruiting your old ass was just the first step. Next big thing is taking back that firepower.
Well, in that case, I think I reckon we find Vic pronto. What I understand, she's been looking into all the information she could get on the factories, trying to find every last thing coming in, trying to hit it, trying to take anything that she smash and grab, taking anything she could, getting out before what them reinforcements come.
Yeah.
I don't know how good she's been doing on all of it, but I have heard about I've heard about a rather big shipment what's coming in not too long from now. My guess is if you find that caravan once it gets out here to the west, you'll find Vic.
I don't know how my girl is doing. She's doing spectacular.
And with all the stories I've heard about her, I'd love to meet her.
Well, that's gonna happen too. After a fair amount of gunfire, explosions, and screaming. But yeah, it's gonna happen too. I'm glad I got you along, Pappy. Flint.
Oh, don't call me that. That makes me feel right more old than I already am.
Well, who else is old enough to even call you that at this point? Just me?
If you're old, I don't even want to know what that makes me.
I
Buster,
think that
speak for
makes-
yourself. You're not that much older than I am.
Yeah, well, that makes Flint and you kind of young. Sort of like pushing through one wall to edge on the country. We're old. Flint's found himself a new sort of young. Ain't that right?
Once you get older, you just start counting down. One of the other guys like finishes his drink and laughs and he says, "Don't you laugh." You and I know exactly that's how it works.
Yeah.
I reckon it'll be mighty nice to see the little miss and all the rest of the old folk what I know down there.
And he'd like to see you.
I reckon she'd like to see her little girl more.
Yeah, that's my plan.
All right, boys, finish your drinks. We got a trail to blaze. And they all nod and they'll finish their drinks. And Flint will put a stack of credits on the table, and he'll nod his hat to the barkeep, and they'll make way up with you guys. And as you run into Jared, the two of them have a moment. They look each other up as, "You should be damn lucky you ain't on the other side, Jared." And he nods. He nods, and I suppose I should be lucky not. I'm trying not to think too hard about the fact that the two of us are working together. After all you put me through, after all I put you through, you mean after all you put me through. Didn't your mother ever teach you to respect your elder? And the two of them, and he'll offer a handshake, and they say war makes for strange bedfellows, Westridge. Ain't that the truth? All right, and he'll get up on his horse as everyone else, as the rest of his gang kind of mounts up. And let's hope you Southerners, Easterners, and Zodians know how to ride. Because I ain't gonna slow down.
I wouldn't want anything else.
Let's make some ruckus.
And as you guys get ready to ride up, you notice something. You're a head short from the group that you came here with.
Who's missing?
Is it Ophelia?
Ophelia.
Okay, I was about to say, where's Ophelia?
Shit.
It could be bad. Yeah.
Eric, can I make like a lore check to detect magic or something? Kind of like that?
Yeah, as you put out your feelers to try and detect magic, there's nothing really here.
Damn.
But like you don't have to because there's not a check to make. And can I have you guys make a perception check real quick?
Yep.
God, I'm terrible at these.
You don't have to if you want.
I'm gonna still do it because the one time I get it, it'll be great. But
the difficulty will be it'll be 3 difficulty.
Anyone mind if I upgrade that?
oh my god, I actually made it.
Shit.
On the off chance of a triumph, anyone mind if I'm actually?
Yeah, go for it.
Will this? All right. Will this carry?
We are
over
running-
next session?
No, we'll be rolling. We'll be a new thing, so go for it.
Okay, so fuck it. Boop. Huzzah.
And yeah, so anyone who succeeded will see this. The others will see it shortly after. There's kind of like a little bit of a ridge. This is like almost in like a smaller divot as like the road that you guys came in is like kind of on the top of the thing. And you see Ophelia gallop over the ridge, and as she does, her Pegasus leaps up into the air, and it takes off. Seemingly the illusion growing wings and then fading off as the illusion drops completely, and then her fully black Pegasus takes to the air, flying towards you. Fast. Very fast.
Like, oh god, there's something after us fast, or oh god.
Or oh god, I'm betraying you and coming you
Yeah.
fast.
I don't
Like,
think
oh
you can
god.
tell the difference.
Fair, but like,
That's still that's a very important.
which
difference.
direction is she coming from? Like, is that
The road that you guys
Coming-
came in.
Yeah, she's
Okay.
coming towards us. Is there anything behind her?
Not immediately.
Is there something we get like with my one advantage? Is there anything I can fucking detect beyond that?
As she gets maybe a quarter mile out from you guys, you see the first other rider reaching the top of the hill,
Yeah.
and then you see another one.
are they also black? Like dark flyers?
Oh no, they're on horses. They're not Pegasi.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the first figure that stands there is one that you've seen before, clad in black armor,
Oh,
long
it's Leon.
white hair.
Fucking Leon. I swear to God, if those guys saw us out.
The
I think Ophelia's this out.
Magister Leon Darlton wait for a moment and looks down at all of you. And he can't necessarily make out who's down there in this pool of horses, but as more figures come up on each, first one to show is clearly a paladin with a brilliant white unicorn with gilded armor, a long golden cape with green flickering on the inside, and a brilliant helmet with a long blade-like horn on the front of the helmet. As a paladin comes up, Jacob, you've encountered enough paladins to know that this is likely the leader of the paladins, Nathaniel Kane.
God damn it, this fucker.
Not long afterwards, the rest of the hill darkens as more cavaliers come up, including a number of other paladins with Nathaniel, a number of cavalier regulars, and a number of other dark knights.
Can I at least shout to Ophelia whether or not, like, hey, is this you?
As she flies down, she has she does not have a weapon in her hand, by the way. She's like gripping on both, like on as she gets closer, hands on the reins, like going for speed and speed alone, and does not look. She looks panicked.
All right, she's on our side.
Or not necessarily panicked, but like concerned. Like she does not look like she's about to fight you.
Yeah. All right.
Well, speaking of riding, I'm getting up in the air.
You get up in the air.
Though Symphora's not right here right now.
No, but she was nearby.
She's nearby, but I imagine she has to fly down.
I'm gonna call for her.
And so as you call for her, you see Leon draw his blade. And as it does, the blade flickers in the sunlight and almost seems to almost devour the light of it, as the black steel of it almost kind of flickers as he directs the sword downwards, and he and the rest of the riders charge down the hill.
Fine.
They aren't charged in a formation to continue the charge and spear into anybody, but they're riding towards you all.
It's a fucking intimidation ride. If I'm reading this right, like it's scatter our forces kind of ride, right?
It seems like that could be what's happening.
Yeah, fine. Them playing like bullies. Let's fucking treat them like it. Flit.
Well, damn. There's only a couple ways this can go. And as Ophelia gets to you guys, we need to get out of here now. We ain't gonna be able to outrun them. Not if we don't make a scene first.
At least something's gotta fucking stay and make a fucking mess.
And as they ride into the edge of the city, Pete, by the way, everybody else is kind of like the civilians have all gone inside and are very much hiding. There are a lot of them. There's between the Dark Knights and Paladins, there's probably roughly about 12 of them, and for the regular Cavaliers, there's probably about 30 of them.
This is my fault.
And as they ride down, they kind of slow to a trot as they reach the edge of it. And as you guys mount up and kind of meet them at a reasonable distance, Leon shouts, "Flint Westridge, you were a hard man to find. Though it seems we were not the first ones to do so. Is that right, Ophelia Chamberlain?" And as they kept a shouting distance kind of place, I suppose the Black Wings were a bit of giveaway, seeing as you're the only of your organization turned traitor against. And as he looks at the rest of you, I suppose the majority of you are members of Connor's rebellion, yes? Then I'll you this. Senator Flint. And the rest of you can leave.
I'm sorry. Say that again.
I have no
Repeat.
intent of indulging.
Good. Take your offer and shove it up your fucking ass. We bleed here. We can die here. We can talk and let's make war. Then giving up shit.
And Flint smiles and says, I reckon this ain't fun. We're gonna down for Jacob.
This might be a tactical treat.
We play smart. Hit and run like we.
They also have range there, Jacob.
We ain't gonna give up, Flint. We ain't
You and I both know they ain't.
exactly. It's they take every fucking person we can. Whatever they say, it's gonna be a fight.
Darlton, you and I both know you ain't gonna. You and I both know you only gave us that offer because you knew we ain't gonna take it. You have no intention of letting us get out of here. Not one of us. Perceptive. I had just simply hoped that a surrender would be in accordance. After all, I would not want the individuals of this town to be harmed in a skirmish. After all, they are innocent. Unlike some others.
A really easy way to remedy that and just not turn it into a skirmish in the middle of town.
Yeah, way I heard it, you used to believe in the bull one.
That was before he decided to become a traitor.
To what? Legala? Or what you thought it was?
If you believe that I am going to be brought here into a discussion of merit, you are incorrect.
What's this war if not a discussion of merit?
Assuming that you are still clinging to your weapons, I have to assume that you intend to fight to keep them.
Given the fact that if we don't keep them, you're gonna fucking kill us for them, yeah. What
And-
what's your other option? We surrender and then you execute us for treason? No. We don't accept to be murdered.
I'm not going to waste breath trying to convince you what I would do if you were to surrender.
And I guess I'm wasting my breath trying to hope that you can see some kind of fucking sense.
He raises his hand, and on the notion, the knights behind him draw their weapons. We need to try and punch through this as quick as we can. And Symphora lets out a she letting out a screech. She is going to fly up, and she's going to make a beeline to you as this is all going on. And as they draw their weapons, Leon gives the order. Men, forward. Subdue or incapacitate the leaders if possible. But give no quarter, if not. This ends here, Westridge. And as he says that, his dark shimmering steel weapon ignites in a gout of fire as he and the others ride forward. And that's where we're going to end it for the evening.